Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic Colors for the Nintendo Wii. Last time, we made our way through Aquarium Park, leaving just one stage left.
Next stop, Planet Wisp. This attraction is currently off limits, as it is still under construction and may not be dangerous enough for visitors yet.
So that's the idea with Planet Wisp. So this is the Wisp's homeworld, as the name would imply. I'm not sure. I thought they're all supposed to be the Wisp's homeworld, but this is the Wisp's homeworld, or something like that. And the idea for this stage is it currently is off limits, even though we were able to get here absolutely no trouble. But this place is all still under construction, so it's going to be a combination of an alien paradise combined with all sorts of mechanical construction work and everything like that. So think of this place as Scrap Brain Zone if it was in a jungle. There's lots of buzzsaws and all sorts of things around that can kill you. But it's also inside a jungle full of... I don't know if it's supposed to be poisonous or not. I'm guessing it isn't, but full of purple water and stuff like that. And it's now time for our final Wisp of the game. So this is the Spikes Wisp. And what this thing does is it makes Sonic mostly invulnerable. I think he can still take damage from enemy weapons, but he can just hit an enemy. The enemy can literally just walk into him and it will explode. It allows him to crawl along all sorts of surfaces. By that I mean he can go up walls, he can cling onto ceilings and stuff like that. He can still perform the homing attack for some reason. But by far the weirdest thing that the Spikes Wisp can do, just like how they for some reason took out Sonic's Lightspeed Dash and made it the power for the hover, the Spikes Wisp gives Sonic the ability to spin dash. I don't know why that's limited to the Spike Wisp. I mean, yeah, you have the boost, but at the same time, since you're not abusing the boost nearly as much as you would in the other boosting games, it's weird how the spin dash isn't here. It's great. It's like the first time I ever made that entirely successfully, and then I messed up right at the end. Darn. I really hate that, how the boost and the drift are on the same button. It's like, the prompt is there, I should be drifting, but I boosted instead. Oh, I hate those things, I really do. I don't know what they're called, those things that will send Sonic off in another direction. It could be straight forward, it could be down, it could be up. In Sonic Unleashed, they were done simply through QuickTime events, and it was all about which button you press. I think, like, X sent you upwards, circle sent you straight or downwards, whatever it was. And in Generations, it's just a matter of where you point the analog stick. I can never work out how you get those things to work in Sonic Colors. I really don't. I'm sure there's a way, but I don't know what that way is. Am I still aiming the thing? Because it doesn't seem to really make a difference. I mean, there, I just completely forgot I was already pressing the button. But so we'll be seeing more of them, like when I get to the S ranks and everything. And I really don't know how those things work. So Planet Wisp, although it's generally counted as level 4, like the first of the 3 final levels, I always tend to do this level last. I don't know, there's just something about it being the Wisp's homeworld that I feel like it should be the last stage, even though I'd say it probably is the easiest of the 3. And I just always feel the need to play this one last. I can't do that in the DS version because it still locks out Asteroid Coaster, but here I always make it last. But it's like if you go to the egg shuttle that's flying around the world map, and that basically just makes you go from stage to stage, and it's really going to be the only thing I don't show off in this playthrough. And when you do that, it does go Tropical Resort, and then it just goes all the way around. So you start at Sweet Mountain, you end at Asteroid Coaster. But whenever I'm playing these stages normally, I always go to Planet Wisp last. So this is my 3rd full playthrough of Sonic Colors. And I always go to Planet Wisp last. I don't know if it's got anything to do with Sonic Generations, I wouldn't have thought so, but this stage does reappear in Sonic Generations, where it is the final stage, and it's... The stage is fine here, it's not my favourite, But I don't think anybody likes the stage in Generations. For starters, the stage in Generations is really freaking long. Right, especially, I mean, it's not, like, super long. It's not Sonic Heroes length or anything. But it's the longest stage in Generations by a long shot. And it's got so many multiple pathways. It's like to split off into even more multiple pathways. Yeah, you want different routes in your Sonic games, but there's a point where there's too much. Wow, he timed that well. And both acts, like modern and classic Sonic, they just go on and on and on. The Wisps aren't very fun to use because the Spike Wisp, which is pretty much just there because it has a spin dash, it's very clunky to use, and then the Rocket Wisp, all you're doing is just going straight up. Yeah, you can you have a bit more control over its movement, but I don't feel that's enough. Look at all those rings that I just missed. That wasn't... What use was that? I missed all of those rings. Obviously, you want to try and get as many of those rings as possible when you're going for the S rank, but I was already on my way up and I just forgot that the robot was there. I don't know why Eggman has some of these things shooting rings at you, but that it does actually become a sort of gimmick in Sonic Generations where you have missions that require you to have a certain number of rings. And you just have those things shooting rings out at you. Only not nearly as fast and not nearly the same quantity. What I don't remember is if one of those missions was in Planet Wisp, despite Sonic Colors being the one that introduces them. I don't know, I don't tend to commit Sonic Generations mission mode to memory, because I don't like the mission mode in Generations. No, I wasn't very successful this time around. Down I go, and then I'd stop boosting right as I hit the enemy. Went right through that one. If you stay on the upper track, you can get that laser wisp, but I wasn't able to do that. All these laser points that I'm not able to get. It's a good thing this is not the S rank run. Now it is time for the Cube Wisp for Bowser's uninteresting as it always has been. Yeah, this is probably, I still say this is my least favourite Wisp. The only Wisp I can think of that is... it's my least favourite Wisp in Sonic Colors anyway, because Sonic Lost Worlds Wisps are even worse. I don't think I like any Wisp in Sonic Lost World, like any of the old Wisps, any of the new Wisps. Because most of them are trying to make use of the Wii U's gyroscope. And the game doesn't even tell you that you can use the laser and drill by using the analog stick. It wants you to use the gyroscope. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then they do the same with everything else. You had to tilt the gamepad to use the asteroid. Down I go. You have to tilt the gamepad to use the asteroid. You have to tap the screen to use the rhythm. I forgot to add in the scene transitions again. Oh well. We can just awkwardly cut to the right moment. I forgot to add... Why am I repeating myself? You have to... So yeah, you had to tilt to use asteroid. You also have to sort of use the gyrosphere on the Eagle Wisp, which is very awkward to do because the thing practically has a mind of its own for all of the few seconds that it's there. You have to tap the screen to use the Rhythm Wisp. Are there any others I'm missing? Well, there's the Bomb Wisp, which... I don't know. I really don't know how you're supposed to use the Bomb Wisp. And rarely you ever do. You either have to have Miiverse turned on, which isn't going to work anymore. We have to do some of the Omochow missions. And it's just a very slow-moving bomb that makes an explosion smaller than Sonic is when he uses the color power. So what is the point of the thing? And then Lightning in the 3DS version, I can never get that to work properly. And then Quake, amongst all the Wisps, that's the one you're using the gyroscope on the most. The 3DS gyroscope it's incredibly clunky because the thing is constantly moving forwards. So you have to keep stopping and stomping in order to change direction. then weirdly it can scale up walls. I think that's every Wisp. Not counting the Ghost Wisp in Team Sonic Racing. I mean, thankfully, they did patch up Sonic Lost World, and I assume that's the case in the PC version. We don't even have gyroscope controls in the PC version, so you can't really do anything. It's like in the PC version and the patched Wii U version, they did add analog controls to most of the Wisps. I am curious as to how they changed some of them. I do want to get the PC version of Lost World. A, because I want to play the Nightmare Zone. Because even though it says Deadly 6th Edition on my copy of the game, it did not come with the code. That's 2 games I've done now. I want my Adam West costume in Batman Arkham Knight, damn it, but I can't. Even though it's a new PS4 copy, it didn't come with the code. But Lost World didn't come with the code either. So I want to play the Nightmare Zone, and also I'm just curious as to how the Rhythm Wisp works on the PC version. Because you can't exactly tap the screen. And I also cannot work out how I'm supposed to get to that. Oh, there's a whole upper pathway that's full of stuff. It's one of the, I think this is one of the few stages where you have a rocket wisp, and there's no ring trail to tell you that's where you need to go. You just gotta go up, and then you'll find there's a red ring up there. But there's nothing to tell you that it's up there. You just use the rocket wisp. It's like the only time that ever happened, and it's really weird.
You know, as alien as this place is, there's something very Eggman-ish about it.
I think he's transforming it somehow, making it part of his theme park.
Attention guests, if you can hear this message, you are trespassing in an area still under renovation. If you are not a robot, please return to the main park areas and ignore anything evil you might have seen here. Thank you.
It looks like the theme of his park is universal domination and the conquest of alien races.
It's more than a theme, it's a reality. He's using them like some kind of living intergalactic gasoline.
That's pretty low, even for a sleazeball like Eggman.
Some displacement of indigenous aliens and destruction of natural resources may occur. Eggman Enterprise is not responsible.
You getting any of that?
Yeah, they're totally freaked out. It sounds like they're in shock because of public transportation and a loony nurse. Oh no, wait, scratch that. They're in shock because of their planet's strange transformation and having been dragged across the universe.
Well, I still can't believe he kidnapped the whole planet. How did somebody do that?
They're saying it was either ice cream or a tractor beam.
Yeah, well, I'm going to guess it was an ice cream shooting out of those generators.
If it was, I would get one for back home.
Dude, I'd get 2. Now, if everyone will excuse me, I'm going to put a stop to these renovations.
So what happened is Eggman basically, he went to Sweet Mountain first and then used the ice cream to bring all the other planets together. That's basically what he did, right? That's how he did it? He used the ice cream in Sweet Mountain. Of course, it makes so much sense. Alright, look, speaking of Sweet Mountain, these things are back. And yeah, I've got nothing to say. I decided to let him live. I don't know if he actually witnessed what happened, but he can tell the others that no robot is safe. Except for him, he's fine. But we'll be back. Yeah, these things will make Frenzy grow as well. Unfortunately, you only get points for destroying them once. And then I lost the Frenzy. There goes plenty of these things though. The one downside with the Frenzy is that the bigger it gets, the slower it gets. Okay, I'm pretty sure I should be getting points for each one of these, but I guess that they don't give you points in this stage, because my point counter was not going up. I was getting the color bonus, but that was it. But see, that's when I like using Frenzy. It's completely useless and doesn't do anything. But when you could just use it in 2D and just go mad and devour everything, that's when Frenzy is fun to use. I can't do that in 3D because I have no control over the thing. That said, again, Starlight Carnival, one of the worst red rings in the entire game. because it requires you to use the frenzy's jump, which is very awkward to do, surprisingly. It's very unresponsive. Yeah, that looked like a drifting section before the gold ring. It isn't. It's you hold forward and Sonic's just gonna go. I don't think it's actually automatic, but you gotta hold forward. It's kind of like getting Sonic to go through loops, at least in some games. I think, but they're semi-automatic. Like you have to hold forward to get Sonic to go through a loop in Adventure or Heroes. And what the hell was that? And then in 06, Sonic will just stop if you don't hold forward in the loop. And then you can just hang upside down like he's Spider Sonic. That's not actually... Well, technically that is a bottomless pit. If you can go down there underneath those robots, and it does take you to a hidden rail. And it's how you get to one of the red rings. It will sort of send you into one of those skydiving moments. And then you can try and land on the rail to get one of the red rings. I guess the clue would be really that it doesn't give you that little bottomless pit warning like we had just then. Like, that's some Crash 2 levels of hidden stuff right there. That's like trying to play the stage without breaking any boxes, like you had to do in Turtle Woods. I don't ever want to rewatch that LP because I died like 5 times in every single stage. Of all 3 games. God, if I ever get to Wrath of Cortex, that better not happen, because I can play Wrath of Cortex well. Because it's my favourite Crash game. Here's where we can use the spin dash. Using the spin dash, however, does cause the meter to go down much faster when you're charging it up. You just gotta watch out for those things. But because this thing still clings to all sorts of surfaces, it's kind of hard to tell where exactly it's going to go. Because there are moments where the Wisp just stops, like the spikes just stands there and doesn't go anywhere. It's much worse in Generations. In fact, in Generations, it can't seem to make up its mind on when you can spin dash. Like, you'll lose the speed, but you still can't actually spin dash. It also isn't nearly as powerful as classic Sonic's regular spin dash in Generations. Because that spin dash is mad. I love it though. I love classic Sonic spin dash in Generations. You could do it on a whim because it has its own button. Take that 3DS version. And classic games, you don't have to keep swapping. Yeah, it's just so freaking powerful. I know it's supposed to be like his equivalent to the boost, but it's awesome. It's just the same that the rest of classic Sonic isn't so great. I mean, it's fine. It's close enough to the originals. It's just not quite there. Whereas the 3DS version, he pretty much is there. It's just that he has some of the most boring level design a Sonic game has ever had. Which is weird because so does modern Sonic. So the 3DS version of Generations is a massive downgrade from the DS version of Colors. The DS version of Colors is fine. In general, I prefer a 3D Sonic game. Even though this one is mostly 2D. That one, the DS version, is entirely 2D. But it's like where the DS version of Colors is still pretty high quality. 3DS Generations isn't.
And there's the generator. It seems like these guys are getting harder and harder to find. I know for a fact these guys are getting harder and harder to beat.
Please remember, all planets in Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park are, as far as you know, wholly owned properties of Eggman Enterprises and its subsidiaries. All unauthorized photography, video reproduction, or shutting down of generators is strictly prohibited. Thank you.
Eggman, I am going to save this planet, and I am going to free these aliens. No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me! We can save a lot of time and broken robots if you just quit now! You try to be reasonable.
In Indeed, no copyright law is going to stop me. I have a bunch of copyright claims on my videos. Weirdly, that includes the Sonic Countdown video. Sega have apparently claimed for copyright because I very briefly used the intro in Sonic Unleashed. So I say, this is the #1 Sonic game. And that part got copyright claimed. No other part in my actual playthrough of the PS2 and Wii version got copyrighted. Or any other times I have played a cutscene. So why did that get the copyright? Anyway, this is Refreshinator. It's more difficult than its predecessor because you can actually move into the background. And you got to try and get the pink spikes. He also has a way of shielding itself. But once you get the spikes, it becomes a lot easier. Unfortunately, he then decided to do that. Which means that I have to wait now. Weirdly, that happens when you start moving. But as with the laser, he is invincible to the lasers. I just barely made this. Luckily, we still slightly have the upwards homing attack from 06, only not nearly as bad. Yeah, as I was saying, I think the 3DS version of Generation suffered. I heard it was because it was the new console, so Sega wanted them to make that game on it, so they probably already had a DS version planned and being made up. But then they suddenly had to switch consoles. Maybe that's why? I don't know. It's not a bad game, but it's very bland. Still better than Lost World, better than Shattered Crystal, better than Fire and Ice. Not as good as DS Colors.
Wow, sometimes I even impress myself. For a second there, I wasn't sure I was going to pull it off. Oh, who am I kidding? We both knew how this would end.
Are you talking to the broken robot who can't hear you?
Maybe. That's between me and the robot. See, the important thing here is the alien planet is free.
Absolutely.
So, we can just forget about the whole talking to dead robots thing, right?
Nope.
I knew you'd say that.
Oh, come on. I've seen you save the day a lot of times, but I've never seen you talk to a pile of metal.
Touché.
Sweet! The tractor beams are gone. The planets are free.
Was there ever any doubt? I mean, really? Great job, buddy.
With all the generators destroyed, we could blow this joint and head home. We did it, dude.
We? I don't remember you fighting off any insane robots.
True. Well, good job to you on inventing a translator that allowed us to speak to the aliens and figure out exactly what we needed to do so we weren't running around the park looking like idiots. Oh no, wait. That was me.
Good point. Either way, we can get out of this crazy place and go home.
Looks like the aliens are happy to be going home too. I think we're in the middle of a party.
The middle? We are the party. I think we're their guests of honor.
Totally.
I'm sure Yakka's fine.
Next stop, Planet Wisp.
By the way, what were the other two planets there? Because they didn't look like any of them. I saw Sweet Mountain. What were the others? Oh well. So, I decided I'm just going to go and finish the story before I start going after all the S ranks and red rings. So I will see you guys next time with the final level. See you guys then.